Hello, and welcome back to the coronavirus update video 19.0. It is 4 o'clock. I'm a little bit late today. I'm very sorry. And it is Friday, the 3rd of April 2020. So everyone who's going to join us today, happy Friday. I hope you've got something nice planned in your house, obviously. So just to start off with, I just want to say thank you for all 3,000 of you who have liked this page. I never expected it to blow up anything like this. I never expected it to get to 1,000, let alone 2,000 and then 3,000. So for all of you watching, for all of you who have shared these videos and liked them and commented and kept us going, I appreciate every single thing that you do, and I'm so grateful for all of your comments, for everything that you share with us, because it is getting the information out there, and I never realized it would be this big. So thank you again. We have just reached 3,000 people liking this page, and if I get at the statistics as well, there's over 5,000 people who follow this page as well. So unbelievable. I never expected it to get anything like this, but each video at the moment we're getting more or less around 15,000 views on every single video, so it's just unbelievable to see this. It really is. So again, thank you very much for everyone who watches. Thank you for sharing, and just thank you for your time. I know it's a brief period of your time during the day, but for a lot of people, I know it's kind of a break away from all the news, well, news-ish, break away from being at home, break away from just everything, really. So I really appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. That being said, if you can share this video out to anyone you can, whether it's friends, relatives, people back in the UK, in Scotland, in Ireland, in Wales, on any of the islands that you may be watching from. But I did this last week, and I haven't done this for a while, but I actually want to know where you guys are from. Where are you watching this from? So if you can quickly write down the town, if you're in Spain, where you are watching from. If you're back in another country, where are you watching from? I believe last time we did this, we had people from Canada watching, people from the Maldives, people from Malaysia watching as well, and I could not believe the amount of flags that were put up on the comments here. So I was blown away. So where are you guys from? Where are you watching this? And where are you from? That would be a good thing to get you guys started with the comments, especially. Let's move on then. So at the start of every video, I like to just update you on all the news on the numbers, especially for the people infected in Spain. But we also have, there's a milestone that we've reached in the world as well, which is not a milestone as in a positive thing, but I'll get into that in a sec. So as of the 3rd of April 2020, there are 117,710 people infected in Spain. That is 7,472 people in the last 72 in the last 24 hours. It's slightly reduced than yesterday, so again, we could be seeing this peak part which everyone is talking about, and we could be seeing the start of this peak. And if this is the case, fantastic. But I think personally we're going to need at least until Monday or Tuesday next week to be able to determine if we have leveled out and then starting on the decline. So there's nothing yet on whether we have reached it, yes or no, but I think we are seeing signs of slowing down of the virus, especially with the recovery rate. So as of the 117,000 people infected, 17,000 of these are emergency staff alone. So all the people who are putting their lives on the line to help the people who have the virus, there are 17,000 people who have tested positive for the coronavirus. So again, everyone who may be watching, or anyone who works for the NHS back in the UK, or anyone who has friends or family members who works for the social care here in Spain, big round of applause for you guys, because you guys are the heroes here. Moving on, we've also got 10,935 deaths in total. That is 932 in the last 24 hours. That number is still on the same level. You know, it's not moving that much. We could be sticking with the 900 for the next couple of days and maybe starting to go down. If it starts to go up even more, then we haven't reached the peak yet. But it's 10,000, almost 11,000 people who have died since the emergency of state in Spain. But the positives here, we have got over 30,000 people who have recovered the coronavirus, and that is 3,770 over in the last 24 hours, which is brilliant. We've reached that milestone of 30,000 people who have recovered this and got past this as well. So brilliant, absolutely amazing. However, the bad news is in the world, the WHO organization, the World Health Organization, has reported that there are now over 1 million cases worldwide of the coronavirus, which is crazy to think that this only started really hitting the news about a month ago, and a lot of the European countries especially started to take some actions. So over 1 million cases, which is crazy. So for all the people who were out there at the start saying, oh, it's just a cold, just a flu, it's infected way more than that. So you just really have to think about what's actually happened in the last month, especially for the countries that we live in. But for the last 3 months, you know, when this came out way before the new year, where the first cases started to be released, it was looked over. So I think this is definitely a good stepping stone that governments especially will start to take more action and take things more seriously, hopefully, with when it comes to health service as well. And hopefully the people who are working in our health services will be compensated for everything that they are doing for all of us, the public. Right, let's move on and we'll get onto the news over the last 24 hours. But first of all, we're going to start with fake news and scams, because every single day I'm still receiving lots of different things about, is this true? Is this true? So I'm going to talk about some fake news and some scams that have actually been going around, so you guys can keep an eye out, especially for if you've received this, okay? So the fake news that is coming around at the moment is shutting off the electric. Now, it's not actually fake news, however, it's some sort of protest, but people have actually translated it differently. So I've received this on multiple occasions over the last 24 hours, that the electrical companies are going to be shutting off all of the electric tonight at 9 p.m. This is not the case. The first thing I did was research this, seeing what was actually going on online. Nothing has been... It was the case of just trying to research it, basically. Now, I've done my research, and what has been going out online is actually a post for a protest. Someone has put this up to basically say from 9 p.m. tonight, everybody switch scans, everything, and we'll basically put a protest out there. Okay, that's basically all of what it is. And if you want to take part in this, then you can switch off everything at 9 p.m. tonight for 10 minutes. And it's basically just a protest to the electrical companies who are not offering to help us in these tough times at the moment, okay? Right, moving on from, well, that was basically the news for the fake news, so to speak. But there have been so many more about the coronavirus extension going on, or the state of emergency being extended until the 26th. This has not been confirmed. I can't reiterate that enough. Even in the comments, people are still asking, has it been extended? No, nothing has been official yet. It could, you know, people are talking about it. But what is actually going on at the moment, it's basically a news article came out from a Valencian university, where these were mathematicians breaking down the numbers, and it was all using mathematics to say when and what dates they could be going and extending to, just using the figures. That's all they were doing. So an article came out, and of course it blew up. I saw it on multiple friends' feeds, basically saying the state of emergency is going on to the 26th. This is not the case. This is just a paper that was published from from mathematicians doing a study on this, and it basically just said that they will go on to the 26th. But this is only using numbers. This is using the numbers that have been released. This is nothing to do with anything else, any other things that could actually change this. So again, just be very, very careful when you're reading these articles. And this goes on to my next point, okay? When you're receiving articles like this, or when you read articles like this, just be very, very wary, okay? One thing, simple steps that you can do to make sure that this could be reliable sources is, one, check the content, okay? Has it been written well? That's the first thing you should be doing. The next thing is check the outlet, okay? So there are some people who are just sharing things left, right, and center. Check the outlet where it is officially coming from, okay? Because if it's an official news organization, then yes, it could be reputable. but then you should actually go into it a bit deeper, okay? Check the author, okay? Who has written this information? Because if it's just a post on Facebook, be very skeptical about this, because you never know where it's come from, who said this, blah, 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 blah. I've done this on many, many occasions where there have been audios of a woman speaking from the Madrid hospital. So I actually got her name. She said it right at the start apparently, and I checked her name and I tried to find out where she was working. There was no record of her whatsoever. So it's just, you know, check the author. Where is this really coming from? The next thing to do is check your sources, okay? Check the sources. Are they mentioning where they are getting these sources from? As I always say, when I say something is confirmed or not actually put into place, I normally use the government official pages to say whether something has been confirmed or not. So you can actually follow most of your Policía Local if you type in, for example, in Murcia, Policía Murcia or Gobierno Murcia. And this is where I get all the up-to-date information for the places in Murcia, but I've started doing that for a lot of the pages around the local areas, around all Spain, to be honest, okay? So check the official sources. That's the main advice that I can give you, because they will be the ones releasing the information when it is time to be released. Anyone else who's releasing information, this is just basically predictions of what could be happening, okay? Until it's released by the government, it's all predictions, okay? Also, you can check pictures. If an article has pictures, or if something is being shared around on Facebook, I know yesterday we talked about empty hospital beds, okay? You can actually take these pictures and you can run them in Google, and they will tell you where these images have actually come from. Because what people tend to do when they're writing articles, they tend to just go to Google, type in what they need, and take the first 5 images that they've got there and put it in their article. Again, this is not real things, because people then start to look at the pictures and they stand out the most, and there's, wow, empty hospital beds. There's a picture of it. It must be true. Just put that image into Google. You can just drag it in there or save it onto your computer, put it into Google, and it will show where this image has actually come from. And a lot of the times, those images are just stock images, and stock images that have been for years ago placed onto the web. So again, you could just do your own research with this, okay? And the last thing, which I always say to anyone who receives these, think before you share. Think about what actual effect is this going to happen if you share this on, okay? Think about what are going to be the repercussions if you share it and it is not true. Just think before you share. It's a great slogan that you can always live by. Just think, okay? Do your research, and before sharing it on, or just trying to do your own research with this, okay? And yes, I just saw the comment, we reached 700 people just then, which was unbelievable. All right, we're moving on to the next things, which is actually, again, with Italy, not fake news per se, but just information about it. Italy, they haven't released any dates of when they're going to be coming out of state of emergency, but they have been predicting that it's going to be the 2nd of May. So we don't know yet. This has not been an official release from Italian government or anything like this. So it could go to the 2nd of May. We don't know yet, okay? But when I do get information about this, I will make sure that I share this, okay? And also with scams, okay? The scams that have been going around recently, the major ones are emails and text messages being sent out from Amazon, HBO, Netflix, Disney+, Corte Inglés, and they're basically telling you to go to their website because your payment system has been or is now no longer valid. These websites are not the actual websites, and they take your credit card information and then they can wipe you clean. So if you do receive any information or any text messages or emails from Amazon or anything like that, check the email address first of all, because it should be the actual website address as the email address, okay? So it'll be info@amazon.com or amazon.es, okay? But some people have actually bought up amazonshopping.com, and they use these email addresses to try and scam people, okay? So check the email address, but never click on any of the links if you are unsure. If they're mentioning anything about credit cards, never click anything on that email or anything on that text message. Go to your web browser yourself and go to the website yourself, okay? And then go into your profile and see if anything has been taken or if it's the payment system, etc., okay? That's the best thing I can do there. Right, moving on. Flights. I've still been getting messages about flights and flying back to the UK and flying from the UK. Yes, there are still emergency flights available. I have been checking on Ryanair, EasyJet, Jet2. there are still some emergency flights, but these emergency flights are only going to be for people who need to get back because they are residents in the other country, okay? Spain have been doing a huge thing about getting their Spanish residents from other countries, India, China, Malaysia, and they've been trying to get all of these people back to Spain, and they've been doing a whole thing about it. So yes, there are still emergency flights. Now, if we actually have had a message from a woman today. She's actually she has to get back to the UK for her sick mother. Now, if you do have to get back, but you have residency in Spain, the best advice that I can give you is to call the embassy. The British embassy is there in Alicante. Call them to see if they will be able to give you permission or some sort of form to say that you are able to fly. From that, you'll be able to try and get your flight and get back to the UK, okay? This is basically giving you permission to get back even though you have residency here in Spain, okay? That's the best advice that I can give you there, okay? Shopping, like every single video, we're going to mention this again and again and again. Shopping, you should only be going one person in the car. It does not mean your partner can drive you and that partner waits in the car whilst you go in shopping. If you are caught, you will be fined. There have been many people messaging me saying that, well, my neighbour did this, well, my neighbour did this. Well, if that's the case and they haven't been caught, they are very, very lucky, because in most cases, if you are caught and you are two people in the car without a reputable excuse, such as being transporting someone who's elderly, a minor, or disabled, then you will be fined at least 600 euros, but we've already started seeing fines of 2,000 euros of people doing this. Now, this is the same for going to your nearest supermarket. Yes, the Guardia Civil and the police have been putting out statements. Yes, you need to go to your nearest supermarket, okay? The only chance that you can go to a further supermarket is if you have proof that you have some sort of dietary need that is specifically in a supermarket, okay? That's the only time you should be doing this. So just be very cautious out there. And I know some people, and especially on here, they like to complain about their neighbors doing this, or I heard somebody do this. It's all fine, but you have to do your own part to this, okay? If they want to do that, you can tell them, but if they don't want to listen, then they don't want to listen. That's their fault, that's in their mind, that's in their head. They might get caught in that. If that's the case, then that's their fault, okay? Moving on. Going for dog walks. Now, we haven't talked about this for a couple of days now, but people have been asking about this. Going for dog walks, you should only be one person walking your dog, and that is it. You cannot go with your partner, and you cannot go out and walk together in a pair or anything like this. The only time that you should be walking your dog is, well, not the only time, you should be walking your dog about 8 times a day. That's what the Guardia Civil have basically been saying as a suggestion. You should not be going any further than 15 meters radius. Now, this is not a law, so a lot of people have been saying, no, fake news, fake news. No, it's not the law, but it's what the recommendation is, because the Guardia Civil are finding people. They are seeing people who are walking their dogs and they are further than a kilometer away from the house, and they've been getting fines there and then on the spot. So the best advice I can give you, just go 50 meters radius of your property, and that should be it. Now, speaking of dog walking, and also people have been talking about the spraying, the disinfecting on the streets, and they're worried about their dogs getting ill from the disinfectant that's been going on. I've spoken to several different sources. None of them have been direct government officials, but people have been saying, I've heard this, I've heard this, I've heard this. So I'm not saying this is true, and I'm not saying this is false. I'm still yet to get information about this. But what people have been saying is, it is a mild bleach that they're mixing in with water, and this is huge tanks of water with mild bleach. Nothing more harmful than what you would use to wash your floor, so water and bleach. That's all they're saying that they're disinfecting with at the moment. So if this is the case, that is actually very, very good. And it isn't actually harmful. Now, of course, there's been lots of photos that have been sharing around, but again, you can do many different things. You can Google research this and see if this is, because I've only ever seen this on one news media outlet here in Spain, and that's the only one that I've seen. I haven't seen this on any other big media organizations or anything, so I'm again a bit skeptical about whether they are harmful or not, but you can just take the protocols here. Best thing you can do is walk your dog when it is dry and not go into any areas that could be wet, such as grass or larger bushes or anything like this. Don't let your dog off the lead whatsoever. Always keep them in sight. And the one advice that a woman called Trisha, now Trisha, she's on here and she's commenting every single day. She's actually, whilst I'm speaking, she's always answering questions that I've already answered. So Trisha, thank you very much for doing this. But Trisha actually had a suggestion yesterday of putting a bowl of water, fresh water, outside your door, so when you come back from walking your dog, you can just quickly wash their paws just to make sure that they're clean and not going to be harmful for them as well, okay? So that's the best advice that I can give you at the moment. We haven't got any other information about what they're using in this. Yes, bleach can be harmful, but when it's diluted in water, it can be less harmful, obviously. So please be careful out there. You know, don't walk your dog in puddles or anything like this, just in case. And if you know they have been disinfecting, just wait at least 3 or 4 hours before taking that dog out into the area that they have disinfected, okay? Right, so other things that have been going on as well in the news. Going to the hospitals. Now, some people have been asking, can I go to the hospital to see a patient who is in there? It is advised not to go. It's not against the law, but the hospital can refuse you to enter. For anyone without people with the coronavirus, just people having a surgery or something like this, it is advised that you don't go and visit this person. Best advice is to speak to them on the phone, as in the patient, do FaceTimes with them to keep them active. But the advice is from the hospitals that you should not go to the hospital without necessary cause. However, it's come out today that a lot of people who have got the coronavirus, a lot of Spanish residents, they're not allowed to be visited by family members, but this is now changed. The only case that members of the family or friends can go to visit this patient is in the case of there's a high risk of death of this patient. That is the only time that people can be going into these wards to see the dying member of the family or a dying friend. So that's actually come out recently, and I think that's actually very, very good for them to do. Of course, the correct protocols will be put into place: gloves, masks, protector as well for the friend of the patient or family member of the patient. So I think that's actually very good, because what we have seen, if there's 900 deaths in the last 24 hours just with coronavirus, all of these would not have had a loved one by them when they passed. All of these would have had maybe a phone call or FaceTime before, and then that's it. So it's you know, it's very, very hard to imagine dying without your loved ones around you, but then the government are trying to help with this, and they are allowing now, most hospitals, not all, but they are allowing that some people can go and say goodbye to them when they pass. So I think that's brilliant, really is. Okay, moving on. Also in the news today, a Spanish company have actually been testing trials on the vaccine for coronavirus. Now, we talked about this last week, about 10 days ago actually. Yes, there are a lot of companies that are working on a vaccine for the coronavirus. This Spanish company said they're going to be starting testing as late as April, which is unbelievable, because normally tests like this can take up to 6 months to even get a human test put in. But they're saying that they're going to have final finished vaccine by the end of April, and it could start testing very soon. So if this is the case, it could still take up to 12 months for it to come out to the public. But if this is the case, then we could have, by next year, we can have a vaccine for the coronavirus, which is brilliant. I think that's going to be really, really good, that a company like this can be so quick with it, especially. Right, and we've got just 2 more things that we're going to have a look at, okay? So the one thing is people moving to their beach houses or second homes at the moment. We've had a lot of people messaging saying that their neighbours have now moved into their house next door to them or the apartment below them, etc., etc. As it stands, it is not illegal to move house at the moment. However, it is illegal to move house without the necessary cause. So, for example, going to a second home is not allowed, and they will be fined. If you find that some neighbours around you have now appeared out of nowhere and you haven't seen them in the last 3 or 4 months, then yes, you should contact the local authorities, especially security if you're on a urbanisation or a resort. But you can actually contact 112 Guardia Civil and police, because we have had cases of this happening and the police turning up but not knowing end results, obviously. But that's a good thing, okay? Now, if you do see this, just be very cautious, because the majority of these people going to their second homes down on the beach and the coastline especially, they will be from Madrid. And this is, of course, the highest area of the people infected. So just be very careful when these people do come. you should be taking all the precautions anyway, so you guys will be safe. But of course, it's just annoying to see when this does happen. But this weekend especially, and the following week when it comes to Easter week as well, the police are putting out 10,000 stop checks a day. So this is unbelievable. They will hopefully stop any unnecessary travelling, but also just be very careful for yourselves. Now, I mentioned before, you should only be going to the nearest supermarket and doing your shop. And you shouldn't be doing anything extra that you don't need to do. So just be careful. Police will be out there and they will be asking. The best thing you can do is just make sure you've got a home address and proof of reason why you're going out. So if you've got a doctor's appointment or a hospital appointment, make sure you have that document to say that you have to go. Or if you have to go to a certain supermarket for a dietary needs, make sure you have that documentation there, okay? So basically what the police have said, and they put this out today, we are not on holiday. We're in a state of emergency, and some people still can't understand that, and they still think that this is a month-long holiday and they can enjoy it however way they wish. This is not the case. We're in a state of emergency and we have to all come together with this. Right, and the last thing that we wanted to talk about was car maintenance. So I talked about this again last week, basically doing a repeat of this as well. But car maintenance, of course, a lot of people not going out, not shopping, not driving, not going to work. Their cars are going to be static for at least the 2 weeks or 3 weeks that we've been in already. So they've basically started putting out different tips and tricks for you guys to make sure that your car is going to be okay after this lockdown has been lifted. So one thing they have been saying is starting your engine at least every 15 days, if in general. But if the car is older than 5 years old, you should try and do it every 7 to 10 days. Just starting up the car and wait for it just 30 seconds, a minute, just to make sure that the battery charges up a little bit. They have also said, and I'm not sure of this, but I'm still going to pass it on. They have also said if the car is older than 10 years old, that you should disconnect the battery. But I actually don't think this is a good idea. So if you do hear about this happening, I actually think it's going to be safer just to get a mechanic in afterwards, or a tow truck, or a neighbour with the cables to jumpstart it after this whole lockdown, instead of yourself trying to disconnect the batteries. I think that is very, very dangerous. So if you do read anything like this or see anything like this, please be very careful. If you're not a mechanic or you don't know much about batteries or car engines or anything like this, I would definitely avoid this, okay? But this has been put out there, so just be careful. That's all I can say. Right, and as of yesterday, I put out the question of what was your one wish? You've just had a birthday, and for anyone who's got a birthday today, happy birthday. But you've just blown out your candles, and what is your wish? And basically, unanimously, everyone has said that the virus needs to disappear. My wish would be for the virus to disappear and for all of us to be healthy and fit again. I thought that was unbelievable for all of you guys to say that. There was a couple of others, but I just think unanimously all of us have actually wished for this virus to disappear and the lockdown to be lifted. But that leads me on to today's question, okay? And it's actually not going to be really a question for you to think about, but it's a memory that I would like you to share. I want you to share your best moment that you have ever had outside your house. What has been your best moment? And it could be anywhere, maybe a place where you went on holiday, a place up in the mountains, or a walk that you did down to the beach. What has been your best memory ever outside of your house? That is going to be your question of the day, and I want to see all of those comments down there of your best memory ever outside of your house. Also, if you can share this video, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, give it a share it with any friends that may not know about this information, share it with all the groups that you're a part of as well, and the extra pages. But for all of you guys who have been helping, I really, really appreciate it. We've reached the 3,000 mark, and I just can't thank you guys enough. I really can't. Remember, 8 p.m. every single night, get out onto those balconies, give everyone who is doing their work for us a big round of applause. Even if you play music, we've had so many videos of people playing music. You guys are absolutely awesome for doing this. Right, guys, that is it for today. My name is Adrian Cockings, and I'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock, just like every single day. Bye.